Hello and welcome into another edition of the Scorching Start on the Birds Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Sammy Miller, alongside your broadcasters, Ian Nicholas and Dylan Pescatore. And the Firebirds are on the road, this time at Red Wilson Field, to take on the YD Red Sox for the second time in 2 days. It's time for the Firebirds to try to get a win after last night's 8-2 loss against the Sox. And last night didn't really go the way of the Firebirds, but it almost feels like it's college ball. Not too often in the Cape Cod League do you have the same opponent 2 nights in a row. Do you think this is advantageous for the Firebirds?
I would say so. I mean, it's a great opportunity to get back on track, right? Orleans has lost 3 of the last 4, and 2 of them have been pretty ugly. The loss to Hyannis and then last night against YD. This is a really important game. 3.5 games back of YD for top in the East Division. You come back to a place where you had one of your most exciting wins of the season, a 5-4 win in extras in the fog, a Sean Matson masterclass towards the end of the game. Maybe the good vibes can return knowing you can win at this ballpark. You can win against this team. It's going to be a challenge. This is a Hunter Hines-led crew. We're going to have Hines back in the lineup today, but it can certainly be done.
And talking about last night's 8-2 loss, the pitching wasn't too strong. Sam Leboki went the first 4 innings, and he let up 5 runs. We also saw 3 different arms. Dylan, is there an arm that stood out to you last night?
Yeah, Cole Glassburn was the arm that really stood out to me. His first appearance with the Firebirds. He's been to 3 different colleges. He's now going to Kaiser University in the fall. He pitches from different arm angles too. He's not a guy who's going to blow you away with velocity, but switch it up on you, give you different angles and mess with the batter's timing and their eye level. I think he will be an important cog to the bullpen for the Firebirds.
Now, another weakness last night for the Firebirds is they were able to post hits, but they weren't able to convert it to runs. Ian, my question to you is how do they start converting more in today's game and the rest of the season as well?
I feel like we've kind of been beating this drum all season long, but the situational hitting just needs to be a little bit better. In this 4-game stretch where Orleans has only won a game, they have left 8 base runners stranded or more in every single game, including 11 last night. A lot of bases loaded opportunities that Orleans has come away with empty-handed, not only in the YD game, but also in the losses to Chatham and Hyannis late last week. So it all comes down to that. You can get runners on. You can clog the base pass. You can hope you can catch a break with the defensive lapse from the other team. But at some point, the big hits need to start coming a little sooner in the game, because if you don't provide the big hit with runners in scoring position, the other team wakes up and they deliver the punch that you never delivered.
And a player who really is willing to put his body on the line every single game is Colin Tuft. He has been phenomenal in the outfield. How important is he to the Firebirds defense?
Yeah, after Austin Overin, who was the center fielder for the Firebirds in the first week or so, Colin Tuft has come in and really solidified himself as an outfielder, but a jack of all trades. He can catch, he can play all 3 outfield positions, and really well. He's made a lot of diving catches, spectacular plays. I go back to the Chatham game, the game 2 of the doubleheader, making a great play in the 9th inning, which basically saved the game. He's been a star defensively for the Firebirds.
Sometimes he looks like a ninja out there. He's rolling, he's diving. It's wild. But Ian, what are some of the adjustments that the Firebirds will need to make today to get a win over the Red Sox?
I'd say limiting the strikeouts from themselves personally, just striking out less in key situations, and also limit handing out free passes. The bullpen handed out a ton of hits, also handed out a ton of walks. I know it's kind of a reconfigured bullpen for Kelly Nicholson. A lot of these guys just getting their feet wet here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, but limiting the free passes and maybe taking a few more free passes yourself is going to set yourself up for a lot more success on the offensive side of things.
And there's a reason why YD is the #1 team in the East. They're a very strong team. Dylan, what do you think they did well last night that they want to implement in today's game?
Yeah, Ian said it earlier, they capitalized on opportunities where the Firebirds didn't. It seemed like every single inning after the Firebirds left runners on, YD cleared them with different hits, and they went to the opposite field a lot. They got key hits in key situations. They ran the bases well. Their defense was really well. They played an all-around really good game, and it's really hard to beat a team like YD when they're at their best. The Firebirds can do it, but they have to cover their bases as well, pun intended.
And you guys already know what time it is. I need the keys to the game. Ian, you're up first.
A bit of an interesting one. I'd say beat the shift. YD was shifting the infield a lot yesterday to mixed results, but sometimes it caught Orleans sleeping a little bit. The spray charts are out there for everybody to see. Now you know how Scott Pickler is going to configure that infield a little bit. You've got a very similar lineup to yesterday. Find a way to overcome that.
Dylan, what about you? What's your key?
The bullpen has struggled for the Firebirds, so it's all about the starting pitching today. Ivan Romero out of U of San Diego will be here. He was a YD Red Sox last year. He's back with the Firebirds this year facing his last year's team. If they can get 5 good innings from Romero today, they'll be in a good spot.
This will be a huge rematch. It's the Sox, it's the Firebirds. Stay tuned for a lot more content on the Scorching Start.
All right, let's go to war, boys. You guys keep it out.
I'm now joined alongside Firebirds manager Kelly Nicholson. Coach, not the outcome you wanted last night, stranding 11 guys on. What adjustment needs to be made to get those runners in?
Well, first of all, it was a good thing to get. It was a positive, Sammy, to get 11 guys on and not to strand them, but to at least have the opportunity to drive guys in. And today, if we get those guys on and in scoring position, hopefully we're going to do a good job and drive them in. So there's always, there's always something positive, even when things go sideways a little bit.
And there was a flip. Usually Jack Penny's at third. He was at shortstop yesterday, and then Brandon Stallman went into the third base. How did you like that switch?
Yeah, I liked it. Obviously, we did it, so we liked it. Jack's going to play shortstop next year at Notre Dame, and we wanted to give him a look at short, and we think that's the best combination defensively for our team right now. And Stallman has been swinging the bat really well, and JP's an all-star and has swung the bat well all summer. So we like those guys over on the left side of the diamond a lot.
Both really have been phenomenal for you guys this season. We also saw 3 different arms yesterday, Rodriguez and Hunt. And what'd you see from those 3, and how'd you like their debut? I
thought they did really well. I was telling Pick earlier, I said, you saw our new arms last night, the rookies. But it was 4 innings and 1 run. So they did a nice job, and it was just Nate Scott hung a breaking ball and guy hit it out. But I think anytime you can go 4 innings and give up only 1 run to YD, it's a positive, and those guys did that last night. It was good to get them out there, get their feet wet. They just arrived, literally arrived yesterday, and we just threw them into the deep end and said, hey man, swim. And they did a very nice job, Sammy. I was proud of them.
And sticking with pitching, today it's going to be Ivan Romero starting for you guys on the mound. What makes him so special?
Well, he's a veteran, right? Last time I saw Ivan pitch at this park, he was throwing against the Orleans Firebirds and throwing the ball very well. So I think he's familiar with this environment. He's been here last year. He's a veteran. This park can kind of intimidate pitchers a little bit because it's about 300 feet to center. I'm exaggerating. It's about 350. That's not going to bother him tonight, so I think he's exactly the right guy on the mound for today's game.
And it kind of feels a little like college ball with the same opponent 2 nights in a row. Mm-hmm. How advantageous is that for you guys?
Well, it helps, right? This morning going over notes, it's kind of the same thing that we did last night. So the preparation was a little bit easier this morning because we just saw them last night, and it doesn't make the opponent any easier. They're good. They have their 2 USA guys in the lineup, Stafford and Montgomery, 2 of the better players in the country. And hey, YD's always good. They always hit. They always defend. They run. They hit and run. You have to be on your toes when you manage against them. And we have our work cut out for us today.
Well, thank you so much, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Sammy.
Hey, set the tone, boys.
I'm now joined alongside Notre Dame's Jack Penny. Jack, you've been here since day 1. How have you been enjoying the summer so far with the Firebirds?
It's been a great experience, honestly. Just having all the guys pretty much stay together. We've had some guys come in and out, but we've had a good core. I feel like I've gotten to know them real well, and I'm really close with them. But then playing baseball every day with them is just a special thing, and it's just a great experience all around to be here.
And like you noted, a lot of players have stayed all season long, especially the position players. So how important is it to have those strong bonds that will help you in the infield?
Yeah, in the infield, you got each other's back, and you got to know where coverages are. And then in the lineup, you got each other's back, like 1 through 9. So at bats just feed on each other, energy just feeds on each other. You got that trust, and then got that friendship that builds up over time, obviously. So it's just like we're all having fun. We're all hoping for each other to do well. So it's a good time.
What was your reaction when you found out that you're going to be playing some Cape Cod baseball this summer?
I was blessed, honestly. I was pretty excited to come back home, near home too. So, but the biggest thing was just to play with kids all around the country, all around the world. So I'm blessed to be here, and it's a privilege for me to be able to play in the Summer League.
And like you said, you're just outside of Boston where you're from, so I know your family tries to come out a lot. How awesome is it to see some familiar faces out there?
It's refreshing, honestly, because I'm away from them for a good amount of time during the college season, but I'm lucky to be able to be close to home, to have them come to some of the games as much as they can, and just have them just to see them rooting for me. So it's a great feeling inside.
I know you have a special relationship with your dad. Growing up, he was your coach with a variety of sports. So how awesome is it to have him just every step of the way teaching you baseball, basketball, football, but also just life itself?
Yeah, he's always been there for me, and he's never really pushed me one way or the other, which I really, really appreciate that for him, because he played football in college, and he's like never really pushed me to play a certain sport, and he knows that. He's just behind me in everything I do, and it gives me a lot of strength in myself too. So I'm thankful for that.
Jack, you've been making some pretty big noise out here. You made it on the All-Star team and also a starter representing the East. So how awesome was that moment when you found out that you were going to be an All-Star?
It was another special moment, but I didn't really think of too much that was going to happen at the beginning of the summer. I kind of want to just take it day by day, playing every day. It takes one step at a time to get to the next step. But it's really a privilege to be able to represent Orleans with the 5 other guys we had on our team. It was a fun day. I had an amazing time. But again, it's just something that I've been working at, and I didn't look too much ahead to it, but it happened, and it was pretty cool.
And you really have been that guy at third base all season long for the Firebirds. What do you like about the defensive side of the game?
I like the reaction part of it. I feel like I have good reaction time, and I feel pretty natural out there. And I just like feeling ground balls running around. So it's really fun for me to be out there, and just have the guys next to me doing it is just special.
And college ball and Cape Cod ball are pretty different. So have you been having to make some adjustments at the plate just over the past month or so?
Yeah, I've had to lock in a little bit more. Obviously, the pitching is a little better across the full lineup and then into the bullpen. But I think that my ABs have been pretty good, and I think I can lock in when I need to. And we've had the mind-up mental performance side of things on our organization, which have helped a lot and keep me focused on the field for the 3 hours or 4 hours that I'm here. And I think my at-bats has just been consistent, which I'm happy about.
And speaking of college ball, you had a great year at Notre Dame. What do you love about playing for the Fighting Irish?
It's another privilege to honestly be there. It's a great school. I love going to school there and playing with the other kids there. They're special people, to be honest, and you don't find a lot of people around in the world like that. And I'm friends with them for life, to be honest. And I'm still keeping in touch over the summer and whatever, and I just can't wait to get back with them in the fall. And it's just a special place, and I'm really, really happy to be there.
And unfortunately, at the later half of this past season, you dislocated your shoulder. So take me through the process of the rehab.
Yeah, so I missed our last 10 games of the year, and I was working hard with our athletic trainer. I think it took about a week for me to sit down and not do anything with it. I had a brace on or a sling on, and then after about a week, I started to do some ground balls, move it around, do some strengthening. And then I started to swing a little bit, and by the end of our school season, I was able to swing on BP, not live pitching, and then coming to the Cape. I had a week before I came to the Cape after my school year ended, and I was wearing when I started playing here, I was wearing a brace, so I wore that for about 3 weeks, and it kept it in place. It's pretty awkward and kind of heavy and felt weird, but I got through it, and then about 6 weeks after I dislocated, I took the brace off, and I've been playing ever since without it, and it just felt really, really strong. So I've recovered pretty well, and I'm thankful for the people who helped me get back to the field.
It really is incredible. And we have a few more games left of the regular season, then playoffs. Do you have any goals for yourself or for the team?
The biggest thing is just stay locked in and just keep having fun and keep playing with enthusiasm. I think that I'm looking around the league, a lot of other guys are kind of checking out a little bit. Some kids are leaving. But I think the coaching staff here and the guys on this team have a special energy that makes me want to stay and makes the guy next to them want to stay. And I'm hoping that we can keep it together into the playoffs, hopefully.
I love it. Thank you so much, and good luck today.
Thank you.
That'll do it for this edition of the Scorching Start on the Birds Broadcast Network. Make sure you tune in at 4:30 when the Orleans Firebirds take on the YD Red Sox.